Hey Steve, you must have missed a few videos, mate. What year? When did you start watching the videos? And how many have you missed since then? Hey everybody, Anthony, 4x4 Diesel. It's a quick video because Steve said a quick video, and he knows I love making quick videos on a bit of rust prevention, what you can do for rust prevention, and what else, and where to put the vehicle on the hoist or the jack stands, the support areas. And I'm not really that good at putting it on the stands because I don't know how many Prados I've ever really put on stands, but not that many. So I'm going to go through a bit of general information so we cover it for all makes and models, and then we might look a bit specific to the Prado if I don't forget busy yakking. Or should we do the rust prevention first? Anyway, you can see there's a lot of really shiny oiled up areas here, and it's not going to stay like that, but it's been like that for a few days at the moment. Other things, I had a can of this Inox product, right? Inox. I'm not saying you have to use this. You can get cheap fish oil sprays, you know, a few bucks a can, you know, on special, whatever. But I had a can of this sitting on the shelf since 2017. I thought, well, I don't have a boat or a jet ski or anything like that at the moment that I'd normally spray this sort of thing on the trailer. I thought there's no point having it on the shelf. So there's a tiny bit there, but not much. So I sprayed that using the little stick on top, and I'll show you the main areas I used it on. You can spray it anywhere you like, as long as it's on the vehicle, because you get all this overspray and then it goes on the floor and it gets slippery and smelly and all that sort of thing. Watch it if you use those fish oils. You might want to jack it up out in the street or something like that. Now, I've given this vehicle a clean. I've given it a little bit of paint. I actually used 2 cans of that Fiddly Bits doing touch-ups here and there. I didn't want to make it look like, you know, look, there's a bit of overspray in places. Look, right on the edge of that bash plate there, I missed a bit because I probably went a little bit there. But I'm not trying to make a perfect job. I'm just going, okay, where's the rust? Where's it meant to be black? And just giving it a bit of love. Now, you could do what Les has done, Les C, right? You know, Steve Z, you know, Les C. All the regulars know who's who in the zoo. Anyway, all right, dingoes, are you all listening here? You subscribe, turn the bell on, right? Who's who in the zoo? Anyway, see all this oily business. For me, I'm concentrating on the chassis mainly. So as you can see, I'll give you a bit of a look. Where the grease and all that is from there, I'm not worried about that area. That's what's going on there. It's all the dry areas, all the dry corrosive, like, you know, you could probably hit somewhere like there. See how there's a bit of, you know, whether it's paint or oil. This is an ongoing maintenance thing. You want to hit it every few years with cleaning. You want to hit it with paint, and you want to hit it with some sort of oil, whether it's WD-40, CRC, see in the hole there, you know, things like that. I don't do a lot of this. I probably don't do enough because I like to sort of see how good these Toyotas really are and that sort of thing. But so what I've done a little bit under the side steps, as you can see. I haven't done a really complete job. I just used what I had in a can, right? You can see all this oily stuff going on, right? I did a bit on the diff, you know, you can see on the diff and stuff like that. You can see the boots of the shockers are all fixed up, and of course they stay down there. Even though we put up on the hoist again, they didn't pull off the bottom there. So you don't really need a zip tie. I just reckon it lets them drain out a little bit better. Not that too much should be getting in there. Oh, there's another one of those dents for me to fix up. I can't help it. Right, there it is, fixed, see? Oh, another one up the top too. Let me just get that one. I'll get a bit oily doing this. Here it is, beautiful, right? You know what I'm talking about. Right, got those dents out of those boots. Any dents on this one? It's looking good. Okay, so I didn't do the springs. I didn't get any too much black overspray in the spring. A little bit there, see? So I must have went a little bit under the... You can do whatever you want, right? If you're selling the vehicle, it can make it look bad if you've done too much. So what you do it well before then, and you don't overdo it. And, you know, I mean, look, at the end of the day, you say, well, what would you rather? A vehicle that's been cleaned and protected? See, at the toe point, I did that and I even hit the bolts. I went, I don't really care. So what this needs now to make it look all natural again is another wash. But what I decided to do is park it outside and let it sit on there for a few days. And then I saw some comments, people asking about vehicle protection, stuff like that. So keep it clean. Give it some paint every now and then on the chassis where the rocks have blasted the paint off, because, you know, the coating of paint's going to help. You can get better quality paint too if you like. I'm not that fussed about it. The car's, what is it, 16 years old, and it's looking pretty good. It's got another 16 in it. I mean, where does it end? You know, it's got to end somewhere, doesn't it? You know, am I going to have this car when it's 50 years old, 70 years old, 100 years old? I mean, you know, they're trying to, let's not even go there in this video, right? But see, this is all dry. I'm not going to spray the alloy. Okay, that's, like I said, still needs more cleaning. But you get a general gist. Anywhere that looks dry, rusty, corroded, that sort of thing, you know, I didn't spray it up around the engine and the turbo and stuff like that. So mainly chassis, down low, around the wheel arches. I think I did, you know, a fair bit there where all this sort of stuff, you know, gets. I even did the control arms a little bit, upper arms and stuff like that. So it gets a bit messy. So it does need a clean up, you know, around the chassis there. It does need a, you know, clean up every now and then after, you know, because all of the dust and dirt's going to stick to it. Well, that's kind of good anyway, because then you'll see the dirt and you know where to clean it. So not too fussed about cleaning it off, but I'm going to give it a bit of a wash and just give it a rinse off. But the smell seems to have gone as well. Still haven't done anything about that. I forgot about that. So lucky it's back up on the horse. Now, jacking up the vehicle. That's a good one on the Prados, because normally general information I always taught, we were working on Falcons and Commodores mainly back in the day, because that's what most of the cars were. Some front wheel drives and all that, the smaller cars, which, you know, and they all had a jacking point right about the middle, around about here where this cross member would be, where it's all covered up by this bash plate. So personally, I don't have a problem putting a jack right there, because the cross member's strong and the 4mm plate's strong as well. If possible, you want to try and hook your jack plate into those holes so it doesn't slide. I was always taught jack the front first, then the back. What was the reason for that? The back was more secure. What was it? Yeah, because I don't know. Just to be honest, I can't even really remember that one, but it doesn't matter. I would still do the front. I feel better about the front, because the rear, you're jacking it by the axle and it's on the springs, where the front, you're going direct to the body. That'd be it. Okay. So somewhere there, you can even jack one side at a time. Where do you want to put your support stands? Well, you want two at each side, of course. See where this hoist is? Not quite straight, doesn't matter, it's under the chassis. Let's have a look how bad the other one is. Same thing, about the same. That's around about where you want to put your stand, somewhere solid under the chassis where they're not going to slide, and always plan that they are going to slide. So as soon as you pull your wheels off or whatever you're going to do, maybe just give the car a rock around. Do it on flat ground, of course, you know. You can watch some other videos and do some other training on using hoists and stands. Don't do it because you watch this video. I'm just giving you some tips and how I do it. But I'll tell you, it's very dangerous, and if you're not qualified, maybe you shouldn't do it. But yeah, some stands that go under the chassis about there at the front. So you could jack it up from the middle. You could even jack it up from the side one at a time. You can throw the jack right there under the chassis if you like, under this side. I've done this before, and put a stand at the front and a stand at the back. You got that side up, then you come over this side, throw the jack right here in the middle or somewhere like that, again, enough to get off the ground. Put one of your stands at the front, one of the stands at the back. There's no set rule really on what, you just got to think about. Don't put the jack under the sump, you know, the engine oil sump. Don't put the jack there. Don't put the jack here under the fuel tank at the back. The wisest place to jack it up is under the diff on a lot of vehicles, the Falcons, the Commodores, and these Prados. So bang, right in the middle of the diff pumpkin there. That's where you, if you've got a proper trolley jack with a round plate that, you know, holds that like a, you know, apple in your hand, if you like, a pumpkin in your jack, right? So that would be second though. I don't know, like if you jack this, you can put this up, and then your axle stands would go under your diff right about there, right? So this light here, that's your axle stand right there, with one piece going each side, so it can't slip sort of thing. But just because you got that doesn't mean it can't slip. It's got to be on flat ground. If you're on a hill, your disadvantage, you can't be on any sort of hill, uneven ground, because the vehicle's going to be leaning back against those stands. They can bend, the vehicle can fall off. You don't want people in and out of the car, kids jumping around, stuff like that. Dangerous, okay? So second is the rear under the diff. Put your stands under the axle, happy days. The first one, like I said, you could even probably go for this cross member, but I wouldn't, because you'd be jacking almost the whole weight of the whole car, which will overload your jack, could damage your jack. So it's more towards the front here. This cross member, to be honest, I haven't done it. I don't jack up Prados, I put it on the hoist, right? So let me have a look what your other options are. I mean, this plate, this K-on 4mm plate, it's that solid. You could throw a jack under here anywhere you like, really. I shouldn't say that till I test it, should I? I reckon you could probably put a jack right here in the middle there and hook the, you know, the back part, you know, the little hooks of that plate under there and bloody jack up on this 4mm K-on. But I'd have to do it to see. I'm not saying you should probably do that. It's not the best option, like I said. Back here where these two holes are, you know you're at the cross member. If you've got the stock standard bash plates, do they have a hole in it? Someone's got a hole. Some cars have got like a mound there, if you like, you know, a mound right between here. And that's sort of to locate the jack. But these vehicles, they've got bash plates. They don't sort of look like that. And so you've got me, okay? I'm not the expert on jacking up Prados. You know, you can always put jacks under control arms and stuff as well, but it can get slippery. So I'll be careful. And of course it's, you know, sprung. So it's going to, you know, get that movement there. You could probably put the jack under the side here as well. You could just get it under there with that bit of oil. Best option is to, of course, oh no, you could come to the front of the chassis here as well for that matter. If you're having trouble, you could, but you're just not going to get as much reach because the vehicle's going to be the jack's going to be fully extended and you're not going to get as much height as what you're going to get as if your jack's down here. So the more I think about it, it's probably a bloody good idea, once you're on flat ground, to put your jack under the side. Just work out where you're going to put your stand. So say your stand's going to go right where that hoist is, then what I would do is put your jack either side of it, probably to the front over here if you can, even locate it over these bolts in a way that so it can't slip, knowing that the front corner is going to go up the most. Jack that one, put your stand under here, gently release the jack, then come over this side, put your jack located over those bolts there, right, and then put your stand where that hoist is, and then of course you go straight to the back under the middle, put your jack under the diff, jack, and you can put your jack stands under the diff itself. If for some reason you were doing suspension and you wanted to let this suspension extend, then you just put your jack stands, of course, where this hoist post is roughly, making sure they're in a secure position. And it's always wise to act like it's going to fall off there. So give it a bit of a rock around and go, yep, no, that looks secure, whatever, if you're not too sure. And if you take your wheels off, put them underneath the side of the vehicle, here under the side steps in the chassis, so that if it was to fall off the stand, hopefully those wheels are thicker than what you are. And if they're not, maybe it's time to change your diet and get on some avocados, broccoli and blueberries instead of all that other junk. Something to think about. There you go. Hang around to the end of the video. Bada bing, bada boom. Thanks for watching. You know how it works. Did this video for you, Steve, so you better tell everyone, smash that like button. Catch you on the next video. See ya.